Hello, and welcome to LinkedIn Marketing Minis. I'm Karen Yankovich, and I'm here with you every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with a tiny little tip to help you move forward with your marketing, especially as I like to call Q4 as your on-ramp to the upcoming year. So especially as you're building your on-ramp to having, massive success in the upcoming new year, what kind of little things can you implement that could shift your energy, shift your marketing, and maybe change things forever, right? So that's why I'm here to do these with you live. And I'm live today on my Facebook business group, my Facebook business page, my Facebook group, which if you are not a member of that group yet, you should be, LinkedInForWomenCommunity.com, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And I'm excited for today's topic because I think it's an important one, and I think it's one that I get asked a lot about this. So I'm really excited today to talk about LinkedIn for introverts. So if you identify as an introvert, or maybe kind of like me, I feel like I'm a ambivert, right? Like sometimes I'm an introvert, sometimes I'm an extrovert, right? But to me, I feel like a little bit, I think I'm more naturally introverted, and I have a switch that I turn on, right, when I need to be more extroverted. But I definitely relate to a lot of these things. I think that's why I love LinkedIn so much, because it allows me to show up in a confident way, even when I'm feeling like I want to crawl under the covers and, just work from my iPad on my bed that day, right? So, which definitely happens. But the beautiful thing about this is if you identify as an introvert, like there are still great ways to market. And I'm also going to say that this also speaks to my good morning, Shamela. Okay. Good morning. I hope I got that right. It also speaks a little bit to, for those of you that are familiar with human design, I'm also a projector in human design, which means that it's like waiting for people to come to you. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a marketer. So how does a projector who runs a business run a business to attract marketing without doing extroverted stuff, right? So anyway, I think this also applies to that, even though it's not really the focus of this. I think it applies to that, because at the end of the day, what I want to do is create a magnetic marketing approach. So yes, you do have to do some outreach, right? There's no like magic wand that brings all this business to you. So we're going to talk about on this video today how to create a strategy on LinkedIn that you can feel comfortable in and can be really powerful and profitable for your business, right? So first of all, I 100% believe that LinkedIn is the only, and it is the premier, if not the only professional networking platform for entrepreneurs. Right. So whether you're introvert or extrovert or whatever, we know that networking is an important part of having a profitable business. It's people buy from other people. So yeah, there's strategies around creating funnels and tripwires and things like that to have business coming in on ads. And I'm not saying that doesn't work. It's just that's not this, right? What I teach is who are the people you need to talk to so that you can sell the highest ticket opportunities that you have. And a lot of it to me, like, you know that I have a podcast, Good Girls Get Rich. And even on my podcast, there's networking involved to bring guests onto my podcast. There's networking involved for me to be a guest on other people's shows, which attract people to my show, which attract people to my business, right? And all of this is part of my introverted marketing strategy. But so I do believe that LinkedIn is perfect for that, because you can choose how and when you want to show up on LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is a comfortable space for more introverted business owners to connect and collaborate without the overwhelming social pressure, without showing up at a live event. I'm not saying that you never show up at a live event, but maybe before you show up at that live event, you do a little bit of LinkedIn networking, right? In that safe, comfortable place to say, hey, who's going to be at this event Wednesday? I'm going to go, let's have coffee, right? I'm going to this conference. You're going to be there. I've been meaning to talk to you. Let's make a lunch date. So an introvert can use LinkedIn to help foster relationships, even for events that are more extrovert focused. Does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? So you can use this platform even to help you collaborate and have success at events that are more in person, right? That do have a little bit more social pressure than LinkedIn has. Obviously, your profile is going to be important on this, right? Because instead of showing up and shaking somebody's hand, you're showing up and virtually shaking somebody's hand, right? So you need to have an optimized profile. We've talked about that many times in this series, this marketing mini series. And by the way, if you have not, if you want to binge this, you can go on over to marketingminis.com, and all the shows that I've done here are in a YouTube playlist. So you can binge this and get all the little tips you want. And there's definitely videos in there about your profile, right? So you want to craft a compelling and authentic LinkedIn profile that resonates with your target audience and highlights your genius as an entrepreneur. Again, it's part of that magnetic pull, right? And that profile optimization can be done at your own time when you're comfortable, even for, us introverts, right? Then let's talk about a little bit of networking, right? So now you also want to do like, again, we're not, as much as I want this magnetic process, I also understand that there's outreach, and it's important that you understand that there's outreach to this, right? But there's a way to make meaningful, strategic connections with other entrepreneurs and potential clients and industry leaders without stepping out of your comfort zone, right? You can, and again, it's always possible for this to be warm. There's never a reason, ever a reason to do cold outreach to people here on LinkedIn. I don't care who the person is, right? And you can call me on that, and I will back it up, and I will stand and have that conversation with anybody about how that can be the case and how much more valuable and how much more it values your time than spinning a tool that sends all these messages to crazy people, right? Like, this is important. This strategic connecting is important. But as an introvert, how beautiful is this, right? Because now, instead of walking up to people you don't know or doing outreach to people you don't know, you're saying, oh my gosh, Karen, I just listened to Good Girls Get Rich, episode 27, and I never thought about it like this. I love that. And you're starting conversations with people in a way that is much more comfortable for people that are more introverted. Does that make sense? You also want to pay attention to engagement, right? You want to engage with people. Again, something introverts are much more comfortable with. Extroverts are more comfortable with walking up to people and saying, hey, I'm Karen, nice to meet you. Introverts are more comfortable engaging with people that have already started that engagement, right? So there's some subtle nuances that you can do on LinkedIn to engage with posts and oh my gosh, and messages and content, so that you're not only building a network and you're not only fostering connections and building connections, but you are maintaining and strengthening those connections within this network that you're building. And you're doing it in a way that is just comfortable, right? Even as an introvert. And I'm saying this like even as an introvert, like I'm saying like I don't know. The word that just came into my head, I'm not even going to say because it's just crazy. It's a crazy analogy, but it's not a bad thing. It just is a thing, right? It's not a bad thing to be an introvert. It's just a thing. So because we know that there are many people that are brilliant business owners that are maybe somehow not as successful as they might be as some extroverted people, because they don't know the skills to bring more people into their network. These are those skills. This is the exact right place for you. Okay. So like making those strategic connections and then building that engagement and mastering the subtle nuances around that engagement is exactly what you need, and is exactly what's going to build your business. Good morning, Shelly Ann. It's so nice to meet you. And I love seeing you here. So let's also talk then about visibility, right? At the end of the day, I think visibility is important, but I also think that visibility, we want there to be visibility because it gives us more credibility, right? So there's strategies around this to enhance your visibility and establish yourself as a thought leader in your niche. Again, like I mentioned earlier about like part of my strategies are around my podcast, right? And hopefully you're all listening to Good Girls Get Rich. Part of my strategies around my podcast. And I use LinkedIn to help build relationships with other podcast hosts, because I know that if somebody listens to me on somebody else's show, they're a podcast listener. Maybe they're going to want to listen to my show. And then that drives some really beautiful people into my She's Linked Up Accelerator program, which is the program that we teach you how to do all these things, right? So that visibility for me, there's a practical part of it, right? Like I know so my outreach is around, so follow me here. Okay. Stick with me here. Because I mentioned a little bit earlier, like the introvert / projector, human design projector in me. I had to do a little bit of outreach to book myself on other people's show. And then outreach looks like, love your show, loved this episode. I think I can contribute to this conversation, right? Not cold pitches. And I can tell you, I get cold pitches every single day for people to be on my podcast. We accept almost none of them. But if I reach out to people in a warm way, podcasts that I think speak to my audience, right? And I'm not reaching out like, book me, book me, book me. I'm reaching out like, I love your message. I love where you talked about this. My point of view is this. I wonder if my point of view would be an interesting topic for your show, right? And there's a little bit of process in there. It's not that quick, right? I like there to be a little bit of a process, but that's what I mean by no cold outreach. But that's where the outreach stops, because once I can get myself on these shows, then the rest of it is the magnetic piece. The rest of it is the projector, the not asking for things. People come to me because now I'm on, I'm interviewed on the show, right? I get my name in front of these people and then they start to come to me. That's where we've created this magnetic approach to this, right? So that's where the visibility is important to me. It's not visibility like Karen needs to have a star on Hollywood Boulevard. It's visibility so that the more people see me and in a strategic way hear my message, the more they get attracted to me. This video series is part of that, right? This video series is part of my visibility strategy. To be honest, I love that you guys are here with me live today. And I don't care how many people are here. I love when there's live interaction. Let me just say, stop right there. But I also know that these videos give me visibility way beyond that, and position me as an expert and help me establish, establish myself as a thought leader in this industry, right? And these are the things that I want for myself, because once I've done these videos, there's lots of things I can do with them. I can repurpose them. I can do other things. And, again, as an introvert, or at least a partial introvert, and also looking for this magnetic strategy, and as a projector looking for this magnetic strategy, I've created a strategy for these videos, right? I've got a spreadsheet of topics. By the way, if you guys have a topic you want me to cover, message me here, drop it in below, or DM me wherever you're watching this, right? I have a strategy. So I've created all these things. And now I know, like, the introvert in me knows, okay, Karen, 10 a.m., you're turning your camera on, turn the switch on, right? Flip the switch, be dressed, be ready, have your earrings on, put a little makeup on, right? And be ready, because, so it's not like unexpected. I can plan for it, right? So visibility is important, but the visibility is important because it contributes to that magnetic approach, right? So there's strategy behind creating the magnetic approach, if that makes sense to everyone. And obviously, at the heart of all of this is you need to be providing value, right? You need to be, I'm hoping, and the feedback I'm getting is that these videos that I'm doing are really valuable. So the more I am providing that value through content sharing and maybe giving and getting recommendations. For example, if you love this video series, I would love a recommendation on LinkedIn that says, I'm loving Karen's Marketing Minis video series. That's helpful to me. Endorsements on my LinkedIn profile are helpful to me. I have a strategy around giving endorsements, because part of the strategy to create a magnetic marketing approach that satisfies the introvert in me is strategically writing recommendations, giving endorsements, just providing value to people so that they want to know more about me. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So there's so many ways that we can do this. There's so many ways that we can do this. I mean, listen, I can list other ways that as an introvert, you want to be strategic on LinkedIn. You want to personalize your connection requests and let people know why it's a warm outreach, right? And mention your common interests or what brought you to connect with them. Don't just cold connect with people. Like, every step of the way, infuse like a one-on-one strategy, right? Infuse like a personalized, a more intimate strategy. Ellen, I love that you're watching from Ireland. Visibility is so important, and most people don't have a visibility strategy, just a marketing strategy. Yeah, and you know what? It's important we have both, right? Because a visibility strategy without a marketing strategy is tying one hand behind your back, and a marketing strategy without a visibility strategy, it's got one hand tied behind your back, right? You can do things like using advanced search, right? If there's if there's a company maybe that you're interested in doing some work for, and they just got bought out, or they just came out with a new initiative or something, you can use advanced search to find other people in that company. And then your warm outreach can be, congratulations on whatever just happened, right? and like, again, let's make it as warm as you possibly can, right? But you also want to, as an introvert, you also want to have networking goals, right? Like for me and for the students in my She's Linked Up program, which if you guys are interested in getting some help with this, by the way, first, whether you want to, join my program or just we'll know what that looks like, or just to find out what some strategy looks like. The best way to get on the calendar is the link that's now scrolling underneath of me. But we have very small networking goals, but we have networking goals nonetheless, because we have accountability. We have accountability calls for those networking goals, because I know that as an introvert, you can be like, all right, I'm going to get to that. First, I'm going to do all these things on my to-do list. Then I'm going to get to that outreach. And we're like, no. That outreach has to happen every week, right? So you want to have goals and you want to break it down into simple, achievable tasks. But then you need to make sure it happens, right? And you need to make sure it happens. Yeah. So they go hand in hand, that the visibility strategy and the marketing strategy. Obviously the content you share contributes to this. Be careful about private messaging. Like, don't spam people in your private messages, please, because then you're just like all those people that you don't want to hear from, right? And we don't want to be that. And then, you know what? Like, schedule some coffee dates, virtual or in person, whatever your vibe is. Like, going deep, not wide, solves so many things. Number one, you're looking for opportunities for your biggest sales, right? Your biggest contract opportunities. And number two, it's a lot more comfortable for us when we actually have conversations with people than we're just constantly spamming people with content, right? And lastly, I just want to talk about the fact that all of these things contribute to your personal brand, right? You're mindfully building your personal brand here. And that is really important in this world we live in, this digital world that we live in. You have a digital brand, whether you like it or not. You have it. Throw your name in a Google search. That's your digital brand, right? How are you coming up? How are you showing up? Things like what your LinkedIn profiles looks like is coming up in that brand. Things like media that you've gotten, podcasts you've been interviewed, that's all contributes to your personal brand, right? And all of these things, when done properly, makes the networking piece of it easier, which is why I firmly believe that for many introverts, all introverts, frankly, and of course, extroverts as well, LinkedIn is the place you should be focusing first, right? Make sure you've got a strong, solid LinkedIn strategy that you are executing every week, like you brush your teeth every day. Like, it happens every week, no matter what. And then you can dial into some of these other strategies, some other platforms like Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But this is where I'm almost every day, I get a message from somebody that says, I got a message from the other day that's like, all of my business is now going to be focused on ads, and my organic outreach is like coming to an end. Like, we're spending so much time trying to get visibility on platforms that are not necessarily where the business is, right? Just pick one platform, do it well, and then play with some of those other platforms. I love this, Shelly Ann. Having conversations with people rather than spamming people with content. That's the critical point. Visibility and marketing is all about that conversation. Yes. And Shelly Ann, obviously, like, this is where, like, one of the things we do in our She's Linked Up programs, and frankly, all of the yeah, right. It's true. All of the work that I do, it really comes down to what is your high ticket offer and how do you sell that first so you can pay people to do all the other things, right? And I, one of the first things we have, in fact, I just updated it a couple of weeks ago, is we have and I had a conversation this morning with one of our students about how she's doing this. Like, I believe that every coach and consultant should have a VIP offer, should have an intensive offer that's $5,000 or $10,000. Doesn't mean you have all the other things, but many people will pay for fast results. They'll pay for your time and attention. So just have that available, so that if somebody wants to work with you, and then, by the way, focus on selling one of those a month, right? One of those a month. And again, with these strategies that I talked about for the introvert, and getting people on your calendar from this magnetic strategy approach, and then whatever it is you offer, right, is obviously what the focus of those conversations are. But also, you've got this high ticket, like VIP intensive offer in your back pocket in case it's not a fit for that. This is how we put $10,000 in extra revenue a month on our business books. Like, this is how it happens, right? But you have to start somewhere. And you can be doing this no matter how introverted or extroverted you are. These are the strategies that work. So we're focusing here on calling these strategies introverted strategies, but obviously they work for everyone. But I want introverts to understand that this is available to them. And it's available to them in a way that might feel really good. So I hope that that was helpful. I'd love to see your name on our calendar if you want to chat and see what it looks like to get some support with this. Honestly, I am really picky about what I offer to people. Like if I think I can help you, I'll tell you what that looks like. And then, but if not, I'll certainly steer you in a direction that I think will help you because I want there to be more successful people in the world. And a lot of times the people that are having a lot of success are not, I don't know. There's people that are, let me shift that energy. There's a lot of people that are so brilliant at what they do and they're not having the financial success that they should. That's who I want to help. That's who I want to help. Let me just check, Alan. Digital visibility is not a goal that one achieves. It is the means to achieve one's goal. Alan, that's really interesting. And the digital mentor. That's really interesting. That's really digital visibility. Let me say that again. Digital visibility is not a goal that one achieves. It is the means to achieve one's goal. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I also, yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I think we'll wrap with that because I do have a hard stop on this one today. I don't always, but I do today. So come back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm here every day with you. And I am happy to support anybody that wants to know what it looks like to get some help. All right. I'll see you all back here tomorrow.